Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Stephen.
Hello.
And making his first appearance on the show is Ali. How you doing, Ali?
I'm alright, thanks.
Good. So some of you may know Ali from if you've seen Liam Fontaine's escape rooms video. So how did you manage that one?
So it was a mate of mine is friends with Tom's and Ellie,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a case of we just got lucky to get picked, and so I went along on the day. It was a pretty fun afternoon out.
Aye. How was he in person? Because we've only spoke to him on the phone, but how was he
No,
in
he
person?
was a really nice guy, really
Aye.
down to earth, just great to get along with.
Brilliant. Aye, lucky. Anyway,
We don't apply for that.
So there's not really been much news other than I think Mark Milligan signed for what was it, Southend?
Southend.
Aye, today. So fair play to him, and wish him the best. And yeah, so Hibs have been busy with our transfers on the last podcast. If you haven't checked out yet, we had a look at Adam Jackson, although there wasn't much on him, and
Joe Newell.
aye. So we've had a look at them and kind of broke down some of the stats with them. So since that, then we've signed another 3 players: Christian Doidge, Tom James, and Chris Maxwell. So we're gonna have a look at them. And according to Hecky, the only other position he's kind of desperately looking for is central defensive midfielder. So we'll kind of a number 6, I think the way you put it. So we'll chat about who that could maybe be and who it isn't, unfortunately, but we'll get back to that. So starting off with Christian Doidge, first of all, impressions for the fact that we've spent a bit of money, and we'll maybe get back to the money a bit more in a second, but bringing in a guy that scored a lot of goals in the past. What's your first impressions of him?
Well, he's someone with a bit of height, bit of presence.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that we've usually gone for, but it's good to have someone in who's got a bit of a good goal scoring background. I know we had a bit of a rough time at Bolton last season, but Bolton have their own ongoing off-field problems, so probably best not to read into that too much. But like you said, he scored goals in the past, so hopefully he can bring some of that to the team in the season coming.
Yeah, Stephen, your thoughts?
Hope he's a better footballer than he is a basketball player.
He played in European Championships at
doesn't count
semi-amateur
for anything.
level.
Doesn't count for anything. It better be a Colin Nish rather than a bloody Chris Dagnall. It'll be good to see. It'd be good to see how he goes. Colin Nish was quite good for us, by the way.
He scored goals, but in terms of technique and stuff, I'm hoping this guy's better than that.
Doesn't matter about technique.
I really liked Colin Nish, and I'm sure he's done a great job with the coaching, but he didn't have the best.
Doesn't matter
first
about
touch or anything
technique.
like
So how many goals has our striker scored in recent seasons? I hope he does well. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't score 15-20 goals, especially being given a number 9 shirt. But it does raise questions about strikers that we've already got and who we're going for now. Obviously there's been a lot of talk about Flo, and it seems like he's quite a similar player in terms of height, build, his style in terms of holding up the play.
But is that, would you say that's Flo's strength, or is that the way we've played Flo?
Well, I think regardless of whether that's how we've played him or not, he's been good at it. When you look at him when he was playing alongside McLaren, he was playing that type of role where he was holding up the ball and laying it off, and fair enough, he chipped him a few goals, but you can't have 2 players too similar to each other, especially if you've got to play 2 up front, and I think that's why McNulty would have complemented Flo a bit more.
If this boy was to play, Doidge was to play more of the hold up target man role, could Flo alongside him play sort of like that McNulty role, or getting in behind and scoring goals? Do you think Flo's capable of that?
I certainly think so. Like, you see some of the goals he's scored when he's been at Hibs, it's been when the ball's been played in front of him rather than with his back to goal. So taking one example, the one he scored against Dundee at Dens Park, it was a cracking finish from him, and it just shows that if he's got the supply, then I think he can put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. So having someone else who can maybe take that pressure off him of having to be that hold up guy and getting in behind instead could see Flo flourish a bit more.
Yeah, and I was watching some of the clips of Doidge on MyScout when I was getting some of the stats and stuff. He is really good at kind of drifting out wide and getting the ball out wide and coming back in and stuff. So
Stick him as a winger then.
He does start through the middle and stuff, and he'll always play through the middle, but he's not afraid to go out and run down the channel and stuff. So if he's doing that, that might help if Flo can kind of stick towards the middle and banging a couple of goals.
You came what annoyed me though, like just going onto the drifting on the outside and that, like Hecky and the team, or it might have started with Lennon, but they literally transformed like two of our main strikers into wingers last season.
Was that? Do you think that was a style thing to have a big man out wide, or do you think that was more necessity?
It better not have been a style thing because it's ridiculous.
Or do you think it was more because Boyle was injured, Fraser Murray wasn't fully fit yet? We only really had Horgan, and that was it.
Play it narrow then. If like the best thing to do is if you're in that situation and you've not got two wingers, either look at your youth, because obviously the under-20s and development team done well last season, looking at the youth and see what wingers we've got, or play narrow. Then I put two of your main strikers, especially one that just holds up the ball all the time, to a wing position, because I mean we talked about the majority of the second half of last season that Flo he doesn't work as a winger.
Yeah, I agree.
He's done a lot while he had the ball, but he can't make runs or that. And obviously when you've got Boyle and Horgan back this season, it just seems like a waste of 5 months for me. But I mean obviously it's just opinion.
I think it was just, Ali, do you think it was more just necessity because injuries and stuff?
I'd agree with that to an extent, but I think Flo likes to drift as well. That's the other thing. It looked like he'd like to get more involved, and that was probably an issue. Is that, like you said, because we didn't have the bodies to fill that position, it was just more natural for him to go into that role in that position and fill up the space. But if we've got the players in now, hopefully it means that he just sticks to that central role where he can be the most effective. Yeah,
fingers crossed. So looking a bit more at Deutsch's stats. So I mean, going through some of his seasons, he scored 27 goals in the National League when he got Forest Green promoted in 44 games. In League 2, in 2 separate seasons, he scored 20 goals in 42 games, and then last season he was at Bolton for the first half of the season. Second half of the season, 27 games, 14 goals. So that's, a goal every other game, pretty much. I mean, in terms of last season, it was 0.49, so yeah, a goal every other game. And his XG was 0.46, and he was averaging about 7 to 8 touches in the box per match. So I mean, you compare that to McNulty, obviously who was probably the one that could find it was the closest. He in 15 games scored 7 goals, similar goals to game ratio, slightly higher XG for McNulty, and McNulty was doing that with 4 to 5 touches in the box per game. So is that maybe a bit of worry that, or do you think that was maybe more down to the way we were playing last season, the type of players we had, we weren't getting enough touches for the strikers in the box? Is that maybe something we need to look at? I mean, or am I looking at it too much? McNulty done just as well as them with less touches in the box?
I'd say probably looking into it a bit too much, just because I feel like we don't get the ball into the box that often. That I think that's one of the main issues we have, is that we have a lot of great sort of build-up play, but it's too slow and too pedestrian at times, and it's a case of let's get the ball into the box when we've got the chance to. And I feel like not often enough are we doing that. So that's probably why he's had fewer touches in the box, is just because it's not often that we're getting the ball in there when they're in there waiting for it.
And with Boyle back, Horgan back, Scott Allen back, Horgan wasn't away, but you know what I mean, does that maybe mean there's going to be more opportunities to get more touches in the box for the strikers?
The best thing to do is just look at the shots per game, and I mean it was really, really low last season, for the strikers,
especially towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. And we were talking about it was average English Premier League strikers supposed to score 1 in 3.
And our strikers weren't even getting one sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't getting one shot, never mind one shot on goal. And I think that's the biggest problem for us. And now that we've got Boyle and Allen, I'm not even going to mention Horgan, but now that we've got Boyle and Allen back, they'll get the chances. And I think that's where the stats are going to be shown this season. And obviously that's just depending on how long they stay fit, because I mean Boyle could get injured the first game of the season, but you just got to look at it in the way that the chances weren't there last season, and they should be this year.
Yeah, and I mean, quite an interesting guy, Christian Deutsch. He got released. I think it was Bristol City released him at a young age.
Rovers.
Was it Bristol Rovers? Released him at a young age, and he gave up on football for a couple of years. Went and played basketball. He was talking to Hibs TV about it. He feels that that's helped him improve as a player. He thinks his jumping's better because of it. His ability to shake off defenders has improved because his basketball, same as a basketball player. He had a time, I think, when he went part-time and played Welsh football, he had times that he was a police officer.
Police officer.
Aye. So, and then he's kind of worked his way from the Welsh League to the National League to League 2, and obviously got the move to Bolton, which didn't work out, but now he's in the big time. Up at Hibs, so quite an interesting fellow. So we'll see how he does. Our new number 9, quite a big guy, and tall, high jumper as well. So hopefully winning a few headers in there.
Christ, he's an Olympic athlete as well now, high jumping. Christ, he's a man of many talents, this boy. But I swear to God, if he doesn't score 10 goals by Christmas, I'll not be happy.
Well, let's not try and put too much pressure on him. But as long as Hibs are winning, that's
what do you expect for a striker though? That's what I'm saying.
Put the ball in the back of the net.
You moan about we praised 7 goals in 15 games. You put that over a season and he should easily be double figures.
The 7-15 was McNulty.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But you want to put it into context. If he had played the full season at 38 games, do you think he would have scored 20 goals?
Who, McNulty?
Yeah.
I think the big thing of that is he scored 1 in the last 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the way we were playing against the top 6, so that needs to be addressed. But we've talked about that loads, so we'll move on. Tom James, the boy of many talents in terms of positions, can play right back, left back, centre mid, defensive mid, centre back, wing back. So and that was all just last season. So can play many positions. Very versatile. Only 23. Last season, West Brom had a bid accepted, but the deal didn't go through. They'd had a bid accepted of £400,000, so really high thought of. However, last season he was in a honking Yeovil team and they got relegated. Stats quite similar to David Gray in terms of last season, so that's quite promising. And he scored 6 goals last season. Have you seen any of his free kicks?
No.
Yeah.
You seen a few of them?
I've seen a few of them. A bit debatable on the goalkeeping on a few of them, but if he gives a bit of competition to Stevie Mallon, then it's good to have 2 players who can hit a dead ball. Yeah,
and I think that 2 of them were quite a bit further out. So I mean, saying that, Mallon scored for quite a far out as well. But yeah, I'll try and get those clips and try and put them on Twitter and stuff. Because I've got access to him. So, and he scored a couple of headers as well, and 1 tap in at a corner as well. So 6 goals over the season's a good return for a defender, or who can sometimes play midfield. So I mean, with Stevenson out for pre-season, so that'll be him out for a bit, because he'll have to, once he does come back, he'll have to kind of catch up on that. Can you see him fitting in at left back to begin with?
I think it just depends on Hecky's plans, because obviously you've got a replacement in Sean Mackey there as well, and it just depends on where he sees James fitting in. If it's a case of he's a squad player that comes in and plays when we need him, where we need him, or if he might fill in another role permanently. So I think it's just a case of whatever Hecky's plans are in the long run.
Stephen, what do you think in terms of over the season, like once Louis back, because obviously Louis our left back and there's no denying that.
Well, Whittaker's got to be our left back this season, I heard.
Is Tom Jones
Tom Jones?
Tom James. It's not unusual to get that mixed up. Is Tom James a long-term replacement for David Gray or immediate replacement for David Gray?
We were talking about this at the end of last season, and that caused a lot of problems.
A lot of people don't like us speaking about David Gray this way, but I mean, what's your answer? It needs to be talked about. We've signed a player.
I said last season that he wasn't got David Gray never had another full season in him.
Right.
And then everybody got upset, so I'm not saying anything anymore. But no, he doesn't have another full season enough. So I think it will be long term. What is he, 23?
23, yeah.
Long term replacement. Immediate replacement after Gray gets injured. So, yeah, to be fair, I paid $2,000 for David Gray's boots after the Scottish Cup, so I'm allowed to say what I want. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes this season with Gray. Same with McGregor, especially with what's his face, Adam Jackson coming in.
Yeah, Porteous back.
Porteous.
Hanlon.
Well, I mean, even Hanlon's got doubts over him this season. Like the end of last season, he wasn't great, and if you've got competition there, I think there will be a lot of rotation in centre back along with Porteous. Porteous will stay there, but the rest of them, I think, they'll have.
So
to be
just quickly then on that, before we move on to Chris Maxwell, keeper. If everyone's fit, thinking about who Hecky's signed and who is our strongest. Well, obviously we don't know because we've not seen them enough. But who does Hecky think our strongest back four is next season?
I think obviously we said it already. Stevenson left back.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Porteous would definitely be the mainstay. Between Hanlon and probably Jackson, for the other centre back spot, just because obviously Hecky signed Jackson at Barnsley. He's brought him up here, so he knows what he's all about. So
you can probably see him playing.
You could probably see him playing. And kind of with Stephen on the fact that Gray will probably start the season, but if he gets injured, James has got a chance to come in and make that place his own.
Yeah. And we're going to talk a minute about the defensive midfield role which we're trying to fill. I mean, the fact that this boy's played there as well is good. That versatility, a bit of cover, and we've obviously got Gray at right back, and Whittaker at right back, who's not going anywhere apparently. So
Whittaker will be defensive midfielder if we can't get another one in.
Didn't he? The boy that does the Terrace done an article and done the probable Hibs team for next season and had Whittaker starting in midfield. I don't know how he's getting that, but anyway. So finally, Chris Maxwell. I mean, in terms of shots sort of faced to goals conceded, very similar to Marciano. Concedes 1 goal to every 3 shots faced. Same with Marciano. Very similar stats in terms of that. But looking at the sort of pass completion rate, Chris Maxwell's got a much better pass completion rate than Marciano. I know it doesn't seem that hard because Marciano's kicking. To come back to that word, is honking. So the way Hecky was speaking today, I don't know if she's heard it, talking about his distribution and how the way that he wants the team to play. Does that kind of sign to you guys that maybe Maxwell's going to be the starting keeper this season? Or do you think that's unfair on Marciano, or both? Ali?
I think obviously Rocky's shown his worth, especially in the sort of tail end of the season with some top class saves. If Hecky's main thing is going to be distribution, then obviously Maxwell coming in is going to provide a lot of competition, and it'd be up to Rocky, I think, to ensure that he works on that and fixes that, because everything else that he brings to the team I think's great, but his distribution, as we've already said, is honking. I think it causes us more problems than anything else. So I still think Rocky would be our number one, but it's good that he's got someone else sort of down his back,
just like he did last season. With Bogdan. So, Stephen, what's your opinion on this? I know Dave gave his opinion on a previous podcast, but what do you want from your goalkeeper?
See, what I want with technology these days, right, is if you stick a pair of like Edgar Davids glasses on Marciano, that just shows the arrows of where the ball's going to go if he kicks it, then we'd have an ideal keeper. just like FIFA arrows, okay?
Right. But what do you want from your keeper? Do you want a goalkeeper that just does the basics and makes the saves, or do you want a goalkeeper that's good with the ball at his feet and can distribute?
Distribution, it's not really anything, because most keepers, it doesn't matter what league you're in, they just kick up the park and hope for the best. Like, if you've got a 6-foot defender against a 5'6" midfielder, the defender's always got to win it. And Hibs have got quite a small team. They've never had massive players in midfield or anything that's got to win a ball, and you always you hear every fan around us when we sit at the game is win the second ball. Like, they never expect us to get the ball from the keeper. So
why not have the keeper pass it out to the defender instead?
Because then our defence, they just pass it across the line.
But is that maybe because
front.
the midfield weren't showing enough last season because the players were had in midfield, and there was
players showing enough isn't Hibs' strong spot. Look at us taking a throw in. We spend about 35 seconds waiting for the ball to get thrown every single time that Gray has it in his hands. But it's one of these things, like, Marciano does the job. You look at the amount of shots he faces against, like, top 6 teams, Celtic, Rangers, like, most specifically, and the amount of goals he concedes, which is like 1 to 2 max. Like, we've never been hammered by a big team when Marciano's been in goals.
We're seeing goals for the Aberdeen game. We go beat 4-1.
That's Aberdeen. It says big team. But no, that's what I mean though. Like, Marciano he does the job. Like, I mean, you ask any Hibs fan and they'll say that Marciano is our best keeper since Gorham, maybe late in a push. Like, it just really it depends. It's a split opinion. Like, you want Maxwell to come in, do well, and provide competition, because that's what Bogdan done last season, and he kept Marciano out of the team for a bit, like, even after Marciano was fit, and then he took the strop. Marciano.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did. So he wasn't happy that he was getting kept out of the team after he was back fit, because he was expecting to walk back into the team.
How did he take the strop?
Because he come out and he was like, "Oh, I should be number 1 again," and then he had to wait for Bogdan to, like, get a concussion.
I don't remember him saying that.
Well,
I don't remember.
He probably says it in Israeli. That's not the point. The fact is that we need competition. I think Maxwell will give him it, but I think the Bogdan Marciano will still be number 1 keeper for next season.
Okay. So finally on Maxwell, interestingly, you were saying it was his granddad, because I just seen it on Y-Scout. It said passport Scotland, even though he's Welsh. You saying it's his granddad's?
His dad's English and his granddad's Scottish. I think they're from Bathgate or something like that.
Cool.
And he was saying that a lot of the family are still up here. And he took in the Derby at Easter Road in October last season. Not Easter Road. Well, he took in a Derby last season when Horgan was playing, because I think they were both at Preston together and they were roommates and stuff like that. So he's obviously got a bit of background knowledge about the club before he's come here. So it's probably good to have someone like him on board. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think he's been capped for Wales, so I just maybe under 21 level or whatever. So maybe a few, do well up here, put himself in frame for a wee Scotland call up. Never know.
Nah, there's too many keepers.
I know we do have quite a few good goalkeepers, but you never know. Maybe get them to switch allegiances. So the only position that Heckingbottom has said that he wants, I mean, I think he's kind of said if McNulty or Omeunga that became available, or if somebody left, would need to react. But the only position he's desperately trying to get in is a number 6, a defensive midfielder. Names that have been mentioned, online anyway, are Dylan McGeouch and Malumbu. McGeouch, Heckingbottom kind of ruled out. So first off, your kind of thoughts on not getting McGeouch?
It'd be interesting to know if, what the interest in McGeouch really was, if there was really much to begin with.
Because I think when he got asked about it, he was at a Hibs, the Hibs club, and he sort of said that's one that's been mentioned. Do you think that was maybe a politician's sort of answer to kind of not say, whilst in front of Hibs fans, no, I'm not interested in him? Is that, or do you think he was genuinely talked about as somebody we could get?
Potentially, like you said, it's just a politician's answer. He's probably got in his own mind the players he wants, and obviously we as fans know what McGeouch offers, but it might not fit the way Hecky wants to build the team, and so that's probably what it is that he's just trying to appease the fans and keep us happy by saying, it's someone that's been mentioned, but at the same time it's not someone that we're looking at actually going for.
Mm-hmm. Another name that a couple of people have mentioned is Malumbu after being released by Celtic. Stephen, your thoughts?
No.
Why not?
Just because. I think we wanted him last season, and he didn't want the club, he had the chance because Lennon was in.
At the same time, you get offered what, like
No,
15 grand a week at Celtic.
Celtic never even had any interest in him while we were looking at him.
Right.
And then he turned around because we had asked for him straight after he was talking about leaving Kilmarnock. And then he was like, no, I want to leave Scotland. Celtic chuck 15 grand a week at him. And he's like, aye, that's fine. We can't afford 15 grand a week.
Is it Gary done the same? Because Lennon tried to sign him for Hibs.
Exactly.
And
100%.
then he went, no, I don't want to go to Scotland. And then
Exactly.
Celtic were like,
you imagine,
oh yeah, I'll come back to
you
Celtic.
imagine us walking up to Effie Ambrose after his 6 months at Derby, getting what, 10, 15 grand a week, saying, Ambrose, do you want to come back? No, mate, it's fine. Just wait till Aberdeen chuck 10 grand a week at me and go up there.
So, on principle, Stephen doesn't want Balloon. What about the type of player? I mean, we've already seen Milligan and Bartley go. Is he maybe not the type of player that Hecky's looking for?
Probably not, just because of his age, and probably his legs aren't as, as strong as someone that Hecky would want. Probably want someone who's a bit more dynamic and can move up and down the park rather than just sort of sit and hold that role and sort of break up the play.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously had the chance to keep Milligan, and I thought he did a fairly decent job at the role, but Hecky saying that letting Milligan go was one of the toughest decisions of his career just goes to show that maybe an older, experienced player with a lot of games under their belt isn't necessarily something he wants. He wants someone who's a bit younger, a bit fresher, who can come in and give more impetus to our attacks and things.
Mm-hmm. And the other player, which I think was kind of Hecky's first choice for the position, was Ojo. Scunthorpe, quite an interesting one there. He believed he had a relegation. Well, he did have a relegation release clause. He believed he'd activated it. Hibs has spoke to him and kind of agreed terms, and Scunthorpe turned around and went, "No, you've not activated it." So Hibs have went, all right, and kind of walked away from the deal. Yeah, quite an interesting one. There is talk that he might take it to UEFA or FIFA to try and get his relegation release clause honoured, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, any other players that you can think of that were maybe kind of that would be suited to that position, or what kind of number 6 do you think we need?
So like I said, it's just someone who's got a bit more legs about them. You need someone who probably wants to drive forward, and because that's the one thing that we've always lacked in midfield is people getting forward. We never get any bodies up the pitch quick enough. So someone who's a bit more mobile is probably what we're looking at.
Yeah. Okay, so to finish up the day, we've got some questions from you guys. So starting off on Twitter, got it here. So Darren Sutherland has asked, another striker is a must. What kind of strike partner does Doidge like to play with that would help his game? I mean, we've kind of already spoke about that in terms of strike partner. We've got Canberry, we've got Doidge, and we've got Ollie Shaw. Boyle can play up there. Do you see, unless McNulty becomes available, do you see us bringing in another striker, or do you think that's kind of us done in terms of strikers?
LeBron James.
What do you think?
I think we definitely need to get someone else in. We saw last season, how much we struggled in front of goal before McNulty came in. We need someone else who can either just play up front and give us something that helps the other strikers, or someone who can stick the ball in the back of the net themselves, just because it was one of our weakest points.
Next up, we've got after Maxwell signing today, what other ins and outs do we kind of see happening? I think that's kind of, I mean, we've kind of spoke about the ins and that, but do we see anybody else leaving? Whittaker kind of has been mentioned, Slivka, but both still there. Manager seems to be quite relaxed on that. What do you think? Can you see anybody leaving?
Slivka will probably be the most likely to leave, I think.
Do you think?
It'll be down to him. He's just come back today, so I think there'll be talks going. It depends who's interested, but I think that if anybody leaves, he'll be the most likely, or in midfield anyway.
Ali?
Not really. The only outs I'd see would be any players going out on loan, so any of the younger players, just so that we've got a bit more game time to get a bit more experience and things like that. With the development league or the reserve league being scrapped, it's probably a better idea for some of them to go out so they're getting competitive football.
Mm-hmm. And saying that, we just talked about a striker a second ago. We've got a striker on trial. So maybe we are looking at another striker. We've got Moon on trial. could that maybe see? I mean, this is kind of a question I put out during the week. Could this maybe see if he does come in, Ollie Shaw go out on loan? He's with the development league kind of not there anymore and kind of changing to, and he's kind of getting older. Should he be going out and getting first team football? As apparently English League One sides and St Mirren kind of interested in a loan deal for him. Whether Hibs would entertain it or not, could that be beneficial to him, Stephen?
Only if like a development loan thing, but I don't even know if that's still a script. If they've still got the development loans.
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
So where we can basically call him back and have him whenever we need him. I think that Hibs will already be looking to get Jamie Gollan out on loan.
Yeah.
And with him going out, I don't think they can afford to get Shaw out unless we get another 2 in. And that would probably be this trialist and McNulty, but just sort of depends on how that goes, I think.
So next question we've got is Lee saying, do we intend to sign a PA system whilst we've got our wallet out, or am I just being greedy? I was at the working together last week, and that's not something that's on the agenda at the moment, the PA system. Unfortunately, it costs a lot of money to get it changed, and it does the job for health and safety reasons. So
that's alright. Fire $100,000 into CCTV and then spend the money on PA system. See if we didn't spend $500,000 on a player this season, I'll be wondering where all my money's going.
And then, I mean, we've already touched about this one. Scott Kettles on Twitter's asked, is Hecky right to dismiss McGeouch as a potential target, or should we be first in the queue for him? We've kind of got already our thoughts, but I mean, was it quite disappointing hearing Hecky kind of dismiss it to the press conference last week?
A wee bit, just because, like we said, he's someone that was one of our most influential players when he was at Hibs. Like, obviously McGinn got all the plaudits and all the praise in the big money move, but a lot of what he was able to do was down to McGeouch being there by his side. So, it's a player that we could probably do with. Mm-hmm. But like we said, if Hecky's not interested and he's got someone else in mind, then I guess we've probably just got to try and move on from it.
Yeah. See, just on that though, like, obviously I mean I had the exact same opinion, and I think every Hibs fan had the same opinion, was that McGeouch was doing all the work and McGinn was getting all the plaudits. Like, you look at McGinn at Aston Villa last season and everybody thought it would be the same with Grealish playing next to him, and McGinn was the star player there. It wasn't Grealish.
Yeah.
So I think that although McGeouch like sort of allowed McGinn to play more freely, I think McGinn's now become his own player, and it's changed my opinion on that a bit. I think, just thinking about it there with McGeouch, I think that now Hibs are starting to look away at getting away from the whole perspective that we just keep going back to the same players.
Yeah.
Like, we've just got Allen back for the 3rd time. We had Thompson back for 3 times, Riordan back, and all these other like Hibs players that were really decent. And I think like we had already taken McGeouch on loan to get, who was it?
Because he was before Celtic, and then we got him permanently when
exactly.
Celtic signed Scott Allen.
I think that they're just trying to get away from the whole idea that we just keep going back and recycling players, and that's fair enough. Like,
it's something that Hibs fans on social media a lot will kind of rush to. I mean, the amount of times that Hibs fans link us with Dominic Malonga is crazy. So just to finish up, there was questions on Instagram, but Stephen's really struggling with the cat allergies.
No, it's not. It's hay fever.
Or hay fever, one of the two.
Combination.
So I'll go quickly through these two. I mean, we've already kind of covered that exact question. Stuart Wilson on Facebook had asked, do you think Hecky is right to show no interest in re-signing Dylan McGeouch? We've just covered that exact question. And finally, James McCulloch, how do you feel about the number of signings, Stubbsy or Fenley? So, because obviously those two signed a lot of players. Stubbs' signings worked out. Fenlon's really didn't. How are you feeling about them? He's quite confident these are worked out. I mean, Heckingbottom spoke about doing a lot of work in kind of analysing these players since they came in March, and all of them, obviously apart from Ojo, because that hasn't happened, are his first choices for those positions. He's quite confident these will be good signings.
I certainly think so. It's like we said we're going for players that we need for, so positions that Hecky's wanting to get players in for. It's not a case of we're just signing people for the sake of signing them. And if the research has been done properly, and a lot of them have been noted as players that we've looked at for a while, then I certainly feel like they're going to come in, make an impact, and be decent players rather than duds that we just sort of get cast aside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to finish up there. Again, apologies to people who have asked questions on Instagram. I'll share those on the Instagram stories and answer them personally, just because Stephen's struggling so much.
Oh, wait a second, actually. Tell you, it was on BBC. Was it BBC or was it Evening News, whatever? Right. Sporting have turned around and says that Ryan Gauld could go for free.
Mm-hmm. Aye, but I don't see Hibs going for
I
him.
don't want him. I genuinely don't want him. I think he was last season. But no.
You've went the whole episode without swearing.
42 million release clause and they're willing to give him away for free. Says it all.
I think the fact that we've got Scott Allen kind of, we've got somebody in that position.
Wouldn't have taken him anyway though. Genuinely wouldn't have taken him. He's a winger as well. Did he not play as a winger at Dundee United before he got his move?
Meant to be.
Aye. Aye. So, so he's best of luck to him wherever he goes, as long as it's not somebody like Aberdeen, which it probably will be. But yeah, we will be back for our podcast next Monday. It'll be recorded on the Friday because I'll be in Venice next week. So if anything happens over the weekend, that's why it won't be covered. But all going to plan. I am meant to be going out and interviewing the head of recruitment, Graham Matthew, this week. So that should be in the middle of that episode. So look forward to that. That should be out next Monday. That's the wee plug for next week's episode. So you guys got much planned for this week?
Working.
Well, exciting answers.
Joys, eh?
You've already been on your holidays, or you got holidays planned?
Not yet. Just see how it goes.
Away Palma at the end of the month.
Brilliant.
So looking forward to that.
How long are you away for?
4 days.
Brilliant. Aye, should be good.
Aye.
This is me and my fiancée been together for 6 years now, and apart from a weekend in York, this is our first holiday. Going to Venice next week, so on Sunday. So, can't wait for that. No idea what I'm going to do. I'm going to burn, I know that, because redhead. So yeah, that's a guarantee. Right, we'll finish up there. Thanks for listening, folks, and we'll be back next week.
Having a good time. I hope he's having a good night. I got